Welcome back to the Boy Time channel. Today, Godspeed You Black Emperor. Lift your skinny fists like antennas to heaven. Look at the
Yeah.
wheel. I just wanted to send it to the wheel again. It just
It's
feels natural.
nice. It feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah. Sorry for the jump scare of the whatever the music that plays over that is, because that's great. I'm keeping it in.
The Carnival music.
It's good. Yes. This is obviously my pick, if you can't tell. Yeah. This is one that like we wouldn't have been able to do in a reaction format because it's an hour and a half long and it has 4 songs, so that doesn't really suit reactions. People yell at us
No.
already for cutting reactions because they don't think we're listening to the full song because the video has to be cut up, which is dumb.
Oh,
That's just editing. I don't know how people
people
don't
say that?
understand this. Yeah, some people say that, like, I don't know how you understand the music when you just skip through it. But anyways, that's part of the reason why we're not doing those anymore.
All right.
Yeah, this is like a top 5 album for me, ever made of all time, ever. It's probably your first post rock album experience. I know we listened to one song of this during the best songs 2 years ago or whatever.
Yes. Does Black Country count?
Kind of. This is more of
Kind of.
traditional post rock, I suppose,
Okay.
where that's kind of like a, I guess, the Airplane album, yes. Everything else, give or take.
Gotcha.
But this is kind of a quintessential post rock album, quintessential music nerd album. So it's just one that
Yes.
is nice to have under your tool belt. But this is their second album, coming off of their F sharp A sharp debut record, and then their Slow Ride for New Canada EP that came out a year after that, I believe. Those records took a much more political and dark tone, and this one strikes a more weird, strange, spiritual, apocalyptic, blah 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 kind of vibe to it. I don't
It
have the
does?
record on me, but there's a lot of cool imagery and stuff with it.
Oh, okay.
Forgot to grab it. But yeah, I think that's all the context I can really give. So, what did you think?
Well, I told you earlier this week, I think after my first reaction, my initial reaction was, uh-oh, I have nothing to say. I have no idea how we're going to do a review of this. Because I don't know what I just listened to.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded like ambience to me,
Mm-hmm.
as someone who is not familiar with the genre, I guess is putting it lightly. So I was like, yeah, I kind of like the end of it, but then I was like, I don't know what happened in like the first half of the album. I was also listening to it in admittedly a bad format because I was listening to it on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and for some reason, not all the songs are on YouTube in full.
Interesting.
So like Storm was cut up into 3 parts, so I had to like put them in queue,
Mm.
and then there was like a little bit of a jump
Eh.
as it would like go to
Yeah.
the next video. And so I'm like, well, that sucks. Like that's definitely not how you're supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
listening to this. Um, and then I think Antennas to Heaven was cut in half. But then the other 2 were fine,
Okay.
just uploaded in full. So I definitely didn't get the like, I guess the way you're supposed to listen to it. It's such a sadness that I had to listen to it this way, but
Yes.
it's how it had to be, because they are good people and got off of Spotify when Spotify man decided that drone bombing children is cool,
And they're not on
which it
any
is.
streaming service anymore. So.
Oh, they're all gone.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, because like my first reaction was like, oh well, I'll just like, I have the YouTube Premium because it's the one streaming service that I pay for.
Of course.
And I was like, oh well, I'll just go on YouTube Music, the thing that I never ever ever use.
Mm-hmm.
But it isn't even on there.
Nope.
And
Just
I was like,
uploaded by
oh
random people.
yeah, but yeah. Well, I guess the question I have, and this is kind of derailing, but why did they pull from all streaming platforms? Because I understand Spotify.
I think all streaming platforms are bad for musicians, so I think they took the
Yeah.
extra step where it's like Spotify isn't the only problem here. Sure, like their CEO is like a massive idiot and is like directly investing in all this stuff, but like all these other streaming services also have those ties. Like
Oh
the
yeah.
back of their Yankee album literally like goes through like Charter TV and then links it to like BlackRock and then links it to like this weapons manufacturer. So they're very in tune with that stuff. Like
Sure.
they don't say any words in any of the songs usually, but there's a lot of messaging that they do outside of that with the artwork and stuff like that. So it makes perfect sense that they would take it off of all streaming. Honestly, this kind of music doesn't really work through streaming anyways. The records of these things sound so much better,
Oh
but it
sure.
is also hard when it's like you're buying the album on Bandcamp for $13 or you're trying to find like uploads of YouTube videos that might be cut up into
Yeah.
different sections.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was because I was like, I know for a fact I'm not going to listen to this again
Right.
after
Yeah.
after we're done with this. Just 'cause it's just not my kind of music
Hmm.
that I listen to. So I was like, although it would be nice to give them money, because I know like based on everything that you've told me that they do good work and are very politically active in a good way. I just don't have the funds to be able to just
Right.
spend money like that, loosey goosey
Hmm.
like that. So I was just like, well, I guess this is just gonna have to do. But after I told you that I didn't know what we were gonna talk about, I went ahead and I listened to it again yesterday, and I think I got a little bit more out of it. I still don't think it's something that I would listen to all the time. I don't
Hmm.
think it's really something that anyone would
No.
listen to all the time.
No.
Just because it is like, I mean, it's kind of heavy,
Mm.
even though there are no words. Like I don't know. It's an odd kind of album in that like it is in your face, but it's also something that can be kind of played in the background.
Hmm.
Just because it is like all instrumental, it isn't like you have to pay attention to the lyrics or anything,
Yep.
like trying to piece together a narrative or anything like that. It's just kind of like instrumentals,
Hmm.
which is cool, but um, you know, just not my cup of tea generally.
Yeah, I think that's why I like post rock is like my favorite genre or one of them, like outside of the hip hop sphere where it's like it's very emotive music, like it's technical and nerdy, but at the same time like it's very emotive and emotional without like needing to do too much with lyrics or anything like that, which is what I
Sure.
enjoy because it's like you can dig into the nerdy stuff, but at like a regular human level, it's like this could score a movie and you can tell exactly what the mood that they're trying to convey is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how we're going to like break this down because there's four songs, so it's like I don't know if we do best or worst tracks.
What's
First
your
of all,
favorite song?
because I don't have any. Well, actually, "Sleep" is my favorite song if we had to pick out of the four,
Oh,
but
okay.
they're all the favorite song here.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay. That was kind of a joke question, but I'm glad
Hmm.
that you answered. I wanted to see what was the album that we did on or what the song
It was
was
the
that we
last
did.
song.
It was like Antennas to Heaven.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I would have figured that some nerd in the comment would have suggested something like Storm or Sleep.
Yeah.
Um, but Antennas to Heaven, that might be my favorite.
Hmm.
I really like that one. But I think overall I love Static. That's my
Yes.
favorite. That one's a lot of fun,
Hmm.
I guess.
That would have been on my worst tracks, but I saw it live, and then it's like in my best tracks now.
Mm,
Which I mean, that's the ideal experience is if these guys come to your city, go because it's the best concert experience you'll get in your life. Just because it's so different. It's like you sit down in a theater setting, like you're about to watch a movie or something, but then it's just like 2 hours of this just at full blast, and it's incredible. But yeah, I'm glad you said Static because I thought that'd be like your least favorite. But
I
I'm glad because it does get intense and crazy, but also very nice at the same time. I think all these tracks go through all of those different emotions.
Yeah, I think what I like about Static is that it has the extremes though.
Hmm.
Where like I think like Storm might be my least favorite. Just in that like it feels like it has the least range
Yeah.
of like dynamics and like what's going on. It's very much like kind of it feels silly to say this about like a 20-minute song, but it does feel like the
It
introduction to
does.
what
Yep.
the album is going to feel like. But they do that over 20 minutes.
Mhm.
Um, but like, I don't know. And then once it gets into sleep, I think there's some stuff that I do like in there. But then like I feel like once it gets to static and then ultimately once it gets to antennas in heaven, it like fully settles into like
Mhm.
what the groove of the album is. Um, and I think that like once it hits there, it's like fun to
Yeah.
me,
Yep.
where they get to really play around with what they're doing. Um, Even though I don't understand any of it, but it sounds nice.
Yeah, it's like you have a crazy preacher woman speaking some crazy stuff, and then you have just a fantastic build after it, and it's just like, great. I don't really know what's happening, but I feel things, and I can see imagery, and I can loosely connect things that they're trying to convey, and it's great. But yeah,
What's a song that has "I was the playground of the
oh yeah,
world"?
that's sleep. That's the
That's
beginning
Sleep.
of it.
Okay, I like that guy.
Me too. They always have like random interview clips in there, like their first like three albums that are just like random people that you don't have any context of what they're talking about, but I'm like, this sounds good over this music.
Oh yeah.
Something
Well,
about
and
just
that
like
guy,
societal decay and then going into the yeah, it's great.
it's really nice. I like that guy.
Me
I
too.
think that's the only one that I remember.
Okay. The crazy preacher woman in Static is also a highlight of just weirdness that I still can't really figure out.
I don't even remember what does she say?
I don't know, something it's like a it feels like an evangelical kind of like weird crazy I don't know. It's a weird kind of mantra that just randomly appears, but I think the end of Storm into Static there's this weird thing where you don't know when the songs switch. So I always just like
Yeah.
recognize whenever she starts talking that I know I'm firmly like in Static and then the crazy build happens after. But
Yes.
and then the Arco AM PM loop and the first song is just great. Just the freaking gas station intercom.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I like all that stuff.
Hmm.
It was kind of funny, like because I've been getting into Andy Schaaf
Hmm.
and getting into like all of his work, which we'll get to because that's going to be the next one that I pick.
Yippee.
Spoiler.
Okay.
But I was listening to, I guess the most recent album that he did was Two, which is he's the lead singer in the band Fox Warren.
Hmm.
And that album also has like, it's not interview clips. It's like clips from like golden age of Hollywood movies
Hmm.
that kind of like introduce and like also kind of end each song. So it was kind of funny. I was like getting into this album and then also getting into that album. And I was like, this is like weird that they're both doing kind of the same thing. Kind of throwing me off. But it was kind of cool. I don't know. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's a highlight of like their post or their pre-breakup hiatus because they did
Oh
Yankee
yeah.
after this in 2003 and then they called it quits for until like 2010. And something missing once they came back was definitely the field recordings and the random clips and stuff like that. I don't know. It just adds so much character and mystery, and especially with an album like this where there's like a whole bunch of like vague spiritual things in the artwork and
Yeah.
everything. It's just a mystery and I love unraveling it. But at the same time, it's like I've listened to this so much where I can identify every movement and it's like kind of comforting in the way that just everything is just so perfectly made of the builds and the transitions into like the slower peaceful parts into the transitions of other
Sure.
songs. Like there is so much just greatness in this album that it's like I really could not pick a best or a worst track. Like Sleep has always been a highlight for me, but as I was listening to it this week, I'm like I don't know if Sleep is that much better than anything else here. I think they're all equal. I think I just personally like that song more. But everything
Yeah.
here is just like incredible.
Yeah. I mean, like, even though I said like Static is like my favorite,
Mhm.
like, I don't know. It feels weird saying that because it really does feel like one big song
Yeah.
in like a lot of ways. It's just kind of divvied up with weird people talking.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think it's
Uh,
rare when you get an album that can flow that well, where it's an hour and a half and it feels like it continues the energy. I think a lot of albums try to
yeah.
do that, but like post rock is like in general, you don't see many things that are this tightly wound like this, where it is very just like clean Everything is like there's a purpose to all of it. All the movements are memorable. Sometimes with like salons or something, you can dabble in one chord for a little bit too long,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
guess is the point of them. But like this one, I feel like I'm just engaged the whole time. A movement doesn't go on for too long usually.
No. No. And like that's something that I mean, I feel like I've been criticized a lot for on this channel is like saying that stuff takes too long,
Hmm.
especially in the beginning. But like I don't know. Maybe I'm just like gotten used to you showing me weird shit like this, but I was like, this didn't feel like it was that long.
Yeah.
Uh, but also like it was something that I did kind of have in the background
Hmm.
because it was like the first time I listened to it, I was at work, which was probably not the best place to do it. I'll grant you that YouTube comment. But then like yesterday when I listened to it, it was like more I was like doing it while I was just like getting stuff done around
Hmm.
my place. And it really did feel like a really great like background for that.
Yes.
Like so I don't know. It feels like there's like a very specific set of circumstances where something like this works.
Hmm.
And it feels like that this one might have the most versatility, I think, for that. For a
Yes.
guy like me.
Yeah, I mean, I love listening to this while I work too, like all Godspeed and post rock stuff in general. Like, it's your brain stays attentive to what's happening in the music, but it's not overstimulated while you're doing your main task because there's no lyrics or anything to follow. So you're kind of just
Yeah.
like, it's soundtracking your movements in a weird way that's just like is satisfying. Like, if I need to lock in on a work project, I'll put on a post rock album because I don't, it helps me not get distracted. It's like the
Sure.
music is just carrying through. So I don't know if this is like a thing where you need to like sit down and like attentively listen to it.
No.
I mean, loud is obviously the one thing because post rock is loud and that's just how it is. Unless you're talking about like a talk where quiet is the strength of it, but that's the outlier. It's like the vibrations and the feelings you get live kind of amplifies all these so much more. Like if I heard Sleep live, I would die and not go to another concert ever again. Like Static was enough. Static was incredible. So you get that real intensity. But I don't know. These on record is just incredible with these. So I think this is the only Godspeed album too that is the same on record that it is on streaming. Usually they have an extra song or some changed movements
Oh,
or things. So
interesting.
but yeah, I guess that kind of covers best tracks. Was there anything that you just didn't like straight up?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think because that was like my main like issue, I guess, when I listened to it the first time. I'm like, I don't hate this, I don't love this, I have
Yeah.
nothing to say, I don't
Hmm.
know what I'm going to talk about. um but like as we're sitting here and talking about it, I don't think that like there's anything that like stands out to me as being like, ooh, I didn't like that,
Hmm.
because it's pretty consistent, like what you're saying. So I don't know. I don't think there's anything I don't like. I'm assuming that you have this as a 100.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Flawless. I,
so
w- I
like
would say
there's
there's no
nothing.
note out of place on this album for me. I think it's one of those few where it's like I wouldn't change a single thing. So,
Sure.
but
Yeah. I mean, I
yeah.
don't have anything.
I think it's one of those two where like I first listened to it like 4 years ago, and like back then I'm trying to ride the hype wave of like everybody says this is like one of the best albums of all time, and I'm getting accustomed to it, and now that I'm coming back and I'm really familiar with it, I'm like it is that good. Sometimes you listen to an album when the first couple of times you're like this is the best thing I've ever heard. You return to it a couple of years later and it's like it's like that
Yeah.
might have been a moment in my mind where I'm like this is really good, but now I'm not really feeling it. But this
Or
holds
even a
up.
cultural moment.
Yeah, that too. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, yeah, obviously this is a big music forum, music nerd kind of group that has
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of evolved. The cool thing about the music nerd forums is it's like kind of gone offline to the point where a lot of Gen Z people are just like genuinely interested in these bands and not just caught up in the scores. There are a lot of people that are just caught up in scores and will follow whatever's highly rated, but going to like shows and stuff for these guys, like big age range, big diversified kind of crowd. So it's kind of transcended that, which is cool. But
Yeah.
I don't know if you have a best moment, if you can pin down one thing or two things, or if it's just like, zoop.
It's probably just the guy.
Yeah, I do love
I
that
like that guy. I don't know what city he's talking about, but I've grown to really appreciate listening to old people talk about nothing. Like there was like, for example, I was out delivering the mail today and there was this dude and he was just like bitching to me about his house getting renovated. And he was like, it's such a disaster when my wife when my wife she thinks she knows everything about construction even though she's never picked up a hammer. And I was just like, yeah, you just got to say yes, dear, and that made him die. And so I'm like, I really started to appreciate not the like misogyny of old people,
No, but
but
just
just
like
like
the way
the
they talk.
quaint
Yeah.
the quaint problems of old
Yes.
people is kind of fun to hear. Um, I don't know. It's funny, and I like
Yeah.
that guy.
I think it sets it up perfectly too, which is just like reminiscing on the past. I think he's talking about Coney Island and like I think there was
Yeah,
fires
yeah,
that burned it down,
I
and they
think
had to
so.
rebuild it. So I think he was talking about that. But like it perfectly sets up the feeling of the song of like this like weird mournful but like also hopeful towards the end. It's just like a very interesting
Yeah,
blend of emotions. I don't know. It flows so well for some reason. There's just this old guy that transitions the tracks and it just is perfect. um,
I feel like that's become such a crutch for me to talk about because it's like the one thing I kind of remember,
it's very
but it is
memorable. Yeah.
it's memorable for a reason because it's like it is perfect.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine like sleep being is it sleep? I have pulled up
Sleep. Yeah.
it's sleep. I can't imagine sleep being that without the old man
Right. You need
talking
that
about.
like emotional connection at the beginning. You can't just
Yeah,
I think that's what a lot of post rock does wrong is like you don't have that setup, you don't have that context. So like when you're trying to make me feel things when you're getting intense with the guitars or stuff, like I need that reason for it to be dramatic like that. Like Swans has
yeah,
the insane ringleader on the microphone, which works great.
yeah,
But like a lot of post rock, I think like in the freaking what is it explosions in the sky and those kind of groups that are kind of I don't want to say Godspeed clones but are very inspired by it. I think they lack that kind of awareness of what they're setting up. Like it's like
yeah.
directing a movie, you need these kind of things to like really set up your moments. But yeah, best moments, I don't know, the back half of Sleep, there's the movement called Monheim through the end of it, which is Broken Windows, that is just like peak music. It's the build towards like when it really gets to the most intense, and then you have like this drop off point. But like the bass and the drum groove is still going and still picking up steam even after the guitars have like kind of fizzled out. That is just
Yeah.
incredible. Like the way that they are able to play with those drum patterns in two different contexts, but just like carry a track forward. It's the most linear song, but like they don't fall when it's just linear. Like it doesn't get
Oh,
stale. Like they just keep building and building and building, which is just masterful. I think the other one would be the back half of Static, World Police.
yeah.
Incredible. That's what I saw live. I think they transitioned the new album into that, and it was the best part of any. I've seen them twice. I think that was the best part of any concert besides when they did Babies in a Thundercloud. It was just the most intense thing because Static gets really intense when you feel the vibrations of that when it's like 130 decibels or whatever they're doing while playing and they're building and building that tension. It's just incredible. It's a roller coaster. So yeah, those would be my two. I think just seeing them live in general is the best moment for Godspeed, and they're
Sure.
doing a lot of touring. So yeah.
Good for them.
Any hot takes? I don't know if you.
I think I've already said
Yeah,
them.
I don't know. I feel like it's not a hot take. It's like a new genre you're getting accustomed to, and it's like
Yeah.
it's a very outside of your wheelhouse, but at the same time, it's not. You're like this sucks. I don't understand anything.
No.
Yeah.
No, no. I don't know. If you've watched any of our other videos, especially videos of albums that I've brought to the table,
Hmm.
it's like singer-songwriter folk
Yeah.
stuff or like maybe some like pop stuff. I've done some rap a little bit. Jazz rap is my jam. Which we need to do the roots.
Yes, we do. Add to the
Just putting
list.
that out there.
Hmm.
Maybe I'll do it next time, but I don't know. Uh, Not this time though. But yeah, I don't know. I think it is just like something that is like completely foreign to me.
Hmm.
Um, and it's also like in general, like I know I've said this, but it's like not my cup of tea generally. Like I know that there is like stuff to appreciate, like what you're saying with like the kind of like background stuff where you can like dig into like the deeper meanings and stuff and like all the different movements and whatever. But like to me, and going back to Andy Schaaf, what is really kind of like really gripped me with a lot of his work is that there's like so many layers to his lyricism.
Hmm.
And like I've just had a blast like really digging into his writing and like trying to piece together what all of the albums mean. And like once I get that, it's like, man, I like feel like I completely understand this piece of art, and like it's just so satisfying. And I'm sure that that's there for something like this,
Hmm.
but as someone who loves writing, like there's just not a lot for me here.
Yep.
um but it's total like I appreciate it a lot. It's very, very good. It's just not for me necessarily.
Yeah, and that's why this isn't a reaction. Why I didn't bring it up during reactions, because I'm like, this is one where you just kind of play it by yourself and see what you think.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's a behemoth to get through, and it's like very, very, very different than any traditional stuff you would put on Spotify, especially if you're not used to like this
Sure.
genre at all. But yeah, I don't know if I have any hot takes. Like, that's one of the most critically acclaimed albums uh, this century for sure. But like,
Sure.
I don't know. There's not really any hot takes I can give. Like the best piece of music ever, but that's not even. People say that all the time. It's a really good album. I will say that
Yeah.
like, don't sleep on their new stuff if you're like an old Godspeed guy where he's like F sharp and Skinny Fists are top and everything else is down. Like their No Title from last year is like creeping up into my top three. I think that album is just absolutely incredible.
Sure.
I wouldn't even say a return to form because they've been pretty solid throughout their 27 years or whatever, but very, very, very good. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a perfect 100. It's fantastic. I'm glad we were able to cover it so I can talk about my nerd stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what I would rate it, but it wouldn't. Might be my hot take is my rating,
Probably.
but I don't know what I would rate it. Because I always do like out of 10
Mm,
or fives with halves. I would maybe give it a like for me a 6 or a 7 because I do appreciate it a lot, but I'm never gonna listen to it again,
yeah.
and that's fine. That's where I'm at. And who knows? Maybe
Wait.
in 20 years, and my hearing is completely gone, maybe I'll need something that is loud, and I'll really appreciate it.
Getting really into
Uh,
industrial nowadays. It's the only
yeah,
thing I can
it's
hear.
it's like there's like this thing. A lot of deaf people really like gangster rap and like
Mm,
blasting it as loud as possible because like you can kind of like get the whole experience just through the vibrations.
hmm.
I bet that you could do the same thing with some of this
Yes,
stuff.
absolutely. Very good. Yeah,
Yeah.
you kind of said what's next, but we can officially declare it.
Yeah, yeah. So I think I've been kind of going back and forth on which Andy Schaaf album to do, but I think we should just start where I started. We're gonna do The Party, his
Okay.
2016 release. In terms of like context or anything that you would like, I don't know if there's anything you need to know before going in.
Okay.
I would just say he's a little bit hard to understand.
Mm,
That's like kind of been my experience with it, but also I'm deaf. But it's like I've been listening to it and I'm like, I should go and read the lyrics. And I'm like, oh, I was wrong completely with what he was saying and also what I like should be getting out of
okay.
this. But I will say for that review, I'm going to be spending like a lengthy amount of time giving my interpretation of it because I've been doing some digging and there aren't very many like people giving their interpretation. So I've just like had to kind of figure this out by myself. And I think that that might be helpful for people like as a springboard.
Okay.
So
Neat.
that's just a little warning, I guess.
Uh, uh,
It's coming.
it's coming.
And also, my interpretation is dead wrong, but it's what I
Okay.
like to think.
I like open interpretations. This album's very open to interpretation. I like that kind of
Yeah.
stuff sometimes. Gets the mind going.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's kind of funny. Like his most recent solo album is Norm, and he like had this thing. He was like, I'm gonna make this one less open to interpretation. And then he made like this really weird concept album that ended up being kind of confusing and weird if you don't know what's going on. So I think he kind of failed in that aspect, but it's really G dang good. So we'll probably do Norm on the channel at least, because I would love to hear your thoughts on that album.
Okay. Well, join us next time for the party.
The
The
party.
party. We
Yes.
have other parties on our other podcasts where we party.
Yes. Yes. We have the Boy Time podcast. It's a classic. It's been
It's a
around
classic.
for
Almost 5 years. Six
nope,
years?
7 years.
7 years? God dang.
Yeah, I think we started at like
2019, right?
winter of 2018.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
no, I think it was like February of 2019. So it's been around a long time. Most of the episodes aren't around anymore
You're not
because
missing anything. You're good.
you're not missing anything. Uh, but what we do got on there right now is we're kind of doing more focused stuff, just like specific movies and stuff, whatever that we find super interesting. So most recently we did One Battle After Another,
Right.
and the next one, it's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be sick.
It's gonna be really awesome.
I love film.
Me too. And I love telling people that they're wrong with their film opinions. So I'm very excited for this next installment of the Boy Time podcast. But speaking of telling people that they're wrong about their movie opinions, I have a movie podcast with my dear mother that doesn't know much about movies, but it's fine. We're gonna, what was it? Last time we did 9 to 5 with Dolly Parton and Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin. And that movie was fun. If you have not read my review for that movie on Letterboxd, I'm plugging this on like every single podcast that I do because I think it's the funniest thing that I've ever written, and I'm very sad. I wish that that was the one review that blew up because I spent I think an hour and a half on it. So go read that. But next time we're gonna do Rear Window because it was my
Classic.
pick, and I love picking film bro movies to show to my mother.
I feel
Well,
like
that's not even
that
uh,
show is this show, but the roles are reversed.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like looking through our catalog because at this point there's 22 episodes that are out, and I was just like, you can definitely tell.
Yeah.
And
It's
it's the
easy.
same with this show,
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, okay, well, this one's a Jerry pick, this is a
Mhm.
Babby pick. Um, so yeah, it's very funny. Um, I was gonna say, Rear Window's not a film bro movie; it's a film school movie
True.
because I've seen that in
Two very
three
different
film
things.
classes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
In fact, they're
Not
probably
mutually
opposite of each
exclusive.
other.
I, I don't
Sometimes.
know.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, like I've definitely seen clips of The Godfather. I think in
Yeah.
every single film class that I've ever taken,
hmm
and that's
That straddles the
definitely a
line.
film bro
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
They made a whole bit of it in the Barbie. That's
That's true.
definitely a
That's
film
true.
bro movie.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but go check out that show. We're doing fun stuff over there. And also check out Boy Time Podcast, and also check out the stuff that we do
This
here.
channel right now.
Yes, we have a lot of fun. A lot of fun online. That's the thing about
I
us.
love having fun online.
Me too. And I love recording the fun that I have with my friends and family and
Me
posting it
too. I
online.
love recording everything I do and uploading it to X the Everything app.
Yeah, we don't do that.
We don't do that.
Or at least I don't. Maybe you
No,
do.
I don't think so. I do.
Okay.
Unless I like black out and I just like do that and then I don't know. It's like a
It's possible.
multi-personality thing.
We all know that you're a heavy drinker.
That's true. This is vodka actually in here, not water.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And you just had that was a pretty good discussion. But you did that all drunk, huh?
I feel like when there's different types of alcoholics. Sometimes like a really veteran, skilled alcoholic, like you can't really tell. And like we're digital, so you can't like smell my breath. So
Oh,
that,
that's true.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and like your eyes aren't close enough to the camera, we wouldn't be able to see that they're dilated or
Exactly.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Hmm.
That's a really good theory.
I feel like you can
That
get
you're
away
just
with being an alcoholic if you're like a online only kind of person. Easier.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's why Steve-O, he got found out because he was
Hmm.
on TV. We
Yep.
aren't on TV.
Should have been on YouTube.
You listening, Steve?
This is free
If you want to
advice.
get back,
The
if
next
you
one's
want to get,
paywalled.
if you want to get back on the horse, start a podcast. That's what I say. That's a lovely message to end this video
I
with.
think so. Bye.